Hello there and welcome. My name is Sam Wilde. I am a professional set, costume and puppetry designer for theatre, and I am also the artistic director behind cardboardadventures.co.uk, which is my cardboard crafting website. Please do check it out if you haven't already. There we go. Now, I am here today to show you how to make this. It's a rather cute little fish puppet, entirely made out of cardboard. It is a wonderful little design, and it is from a show called The Lostopus, which is available on my YouTube channel now. Please do check it out. It is sensational. Okay, now the first step in making this puppet is to head over to cardboardadventures.co.uk and find the fish's pattern and download that. Once you've got that, you'll find that it has a pattern pieces in there. Okay, it will also have step-by-step illustrated instructions. If you don't want to look at my face, you can do this through a document instead. But the pattern pieces are what we need now. So what we want to do is to lay that over some cardboard and cut out those pieces. Now, cardboard is a many varied and beautiful thing, and this pattern will work on almost any sort of cardboard you have available. The one we suggest, however, is this stuff. Now, it is nothing fancy or special, it's just thinner cardboard. You'll find in most countries it's what your delivery parcels come in, so it's the most common form of cardboard. There it is. The thinner stuff is slightly better. So once you've got that, cut out all of your pieces, making sure that the grain runs in the right direction. Okay, that's particularly important in this pattern. If you need more instruction on what the grain is, do check out those documents with the pattern as well, because there's full description on that. But I think you'll figure it out. You look like a smart cookie. Anyway, enough of this chit chat. Shall we get on with the making? Right, so I've cut out all my pieces already. And I have got this, which is the body piece. I've got two of those. And what I've done is I've pre-curved it. So I've just gone along and I've bent it with the grain. So all of these arrows running in this direction means that this will make a nice smooth curve. I can bend it the other way, but I just sort of force it and it wouldn't be as nice and tidy. So that's where one of the ways the grain is so important. I have also run my finger around the edge, squashing that edge just so that they join in a nicer way, and we end up with a neater join. I've done that with both pieces, but I've mirrored them. They're not quite symmetrical, so they curve out in the different way. There we go, so that creates that sort of shape. I've got my tape, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay one body on top of the other body, and I'm just going to run around the edge with some tape. Now, I don't need to do all the points. One on top of the other with that curve going outwards. Okay, I'll hold it up in a second so you can see it a little bit more clearly. Like this, or like this. Okay, there we go. Once you have got that bit done, we need to get our, there he is, cheeky little support. So the support is going to go inside of that. But before I do that, I've got my glue gun. And I'm just gonna, you have to do this bit quite quickly. You don't have to rush it, okay? Shouldn't be flailing that around, should I? You don't have to rush it, but also don't dally with it, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my glue gun and I'm gonna put it inside. And I'm just putting hot glue on those inside joins, being super careful not to burn myself because burns hurt, okay? Once I've got that in, before it completely cools, I'm going to put my support in place. There we go. So it's gone in between the two body pieces, just like so, slightly further back. And I'm again going to get my hot glue gun and I'm just running around those inside joins. That's going to be something we do over and over again for this pattern. Joining it with tape or joining it in position, and then running glue around the inside of it just to secure it, which means we won't see any glue on the outside. Again, just making it a little bit more neat. Okay, just going to put that down whilst it sets. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this piece, my tail end. What have I called it? the tail base. There we go. So what I've got is going to grab this next piece, the tail base. Okay, now this is where my grain is super important. Cardboard, I always think about it as loads of straws with like paper on top and above. And if chance may have it, I've got a load of straws here that I put tape on top and behind. Now, this is kind of what your cardboard is. There we go, that's a better view for it. You can see there. Now, this is super important because your cardboard wants to bend one way, just like this wants to bend the other. I can force it and I can bend it the other way, but it's not flapping, it's not a neat join, it's not, I mean, we can make it neat, but it's never gonna flap like this, like we want our tail to do on our fish. Okay, so this is one where it's super important that we get our grain running in the right direction. So whilst that's cooled, I've just got this and I've just encouraged it to fold and bend in that place. Okay, right there. Easy peasy. Now that should be cool. Let's have a look. Lovely. I'm just going to take a moment to peel off the tape. A good craft tape really is, I say this all the time, is your secret sauce from crafting with cardboard. If you are serious about it, one thing I would recommend doing is heading down to your local craft supply or looking online and finding a bunch of different craft tapes, ordering one of each and giving them all a little play, giving them all a little try, until you find the one that works for you. There we go. Right, so I've got this, and then I'm going to get my glue gun and I'm going to pop a bit of glue on the inside. So I've just slipped some glue up top and bottom on there, and then I'm going to slip the tail within there, and I'm going to give it a little squeeze. So it's like this, you see. So this bit slightly got a sharper angle out, so that's the bottom. This bit has got a slightly shallower angle on top, and again the smaller fin is on the bottom, bigger fin is on the top, with the grain running that way. Right, next step is to get our tails. Now, believe it or not, these are not so we can make a little butterfly friend for our fish. What we are going to do is we are very simply going to pop a bit of glue on these and place them on top. Now, this is for two reasons. One is that extra thickness. So I'm doing that on both sides with both of the tail sections. That extra bit of thickness means that this part of the tail won't bend. We want it to fold and bend and flap, but we only want it to do it in that one position, don't we? So putting those there means that this part of it won't flap. The second thing it does is it adds just a little bit of weight so that it makes it a little bit easier for that section to move. Okay, and then the other thing I've just done is I've just applied some pressure, just squashing down along this joint, just so it again has a little bit more space to move. Otherwise the tail would be hitting into the body and we just wouldn't get that full range of movement. Squashing that down means I can get a much bigger movement. There we go. That is our fish body. I am going to put that to the side for one moment. We are going to take our fish head, okay, fish head, and we are going to treat it in exactly the same way that we did the body. So I'm pre-curving it, Okay, I am going to run my finger, or if I don't want to use my finger, you could use a spoon's particularly good. What have we got here? Let's just use this pen, just squashing those edges around them, just so that when we join them, we end up with a neater join. Okay, laying one on top of the other. Again, it's not quite symmetrical, so do try it in different ways until it feels like it naturally leans on top. And I am going to put some tape around the edges. The one thing I am not going to do, however, which is different to the way I usually do these things, is I am not going to put any tape right at the end. Okay, I'm not putting any tape on either end. I'm going to leave those open. The reason for which will become clear later. There we have it. And because I've not put tape here and here, it will open a little bit wider because of that. There we go. Right, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just adding a little bit more curve to that grain. And I am going to get my glue gun and I am going to run it along the inside edge, being very careful. We've only joined that with tape, okay? So hot glue can seep out of that very easily, as it has just there. So I'm just squeezing that bit together. And then, before that sets, I'm going to put a bit of glue. I'll just put a bit of glue here and on the corresponding side. I'm going to get my body. I'm going to slip my fish head onto it and I'm just pressing down just so it really sets. And there, I mean, that's pretty much our fish taking shape, isn't it? Whilst that dries, however, let's do a little bit of quick detail work. So I've got my fish pupils. I'm just gonna colour them black. And there we go. So now that they're black, I'm gonna get my eyes and I'm gonna glue my pupil onto my eye. Just a little drop of glue onto there. Little drop of glue onto there. And by this point, our fish should have dried. So I'm just going to go around and peel the tape off. Because I am going to attach my eyes. Now, they do have this little bit of extra detail onto the eyes. Whether that goes up, down, left, right, that's entirely up to you. I think I'm going to go down with it today. Adding a bit of glue to that, attaching it to the head, holding it for a second, and then doing it on the other side. Now, I quite like that as a little fish, and indeed when my little fish is made, this is where I leave it. However, in our design we do have these little fins and they are quite cute. So I've got my little fin and I'm just folding it slightly up at the top. I'm going to do that on the other side as well, obviously folding it out the other way. I'm going to apply a little bit of glue to the top there and I'm going to pop it in place. Same on the other side, a bit of hot glue. So there we go, and we can attach those on with our little fish. Let's add a quick little bit of lines. I'm a big fan of a big black line going around things. And there we have it, our little fish. Now, if you wanted to, you could get a rod and stick it up the little fish just to give it that a little bit of stick to control it with. Or if you wanted, you can hold it in your hand. Or if you really wanted, you could get a whole bunch of them and add them together. Put them on a stick. Give yourself a whole shoal, whatever they call it nowadays. There we go. As I say, all the patterns for this, as well as a plethora of other ones, are over on our website, cardboardadventures.co.uk, and do check out the Lostopus, which is free on our YouTube channel right now. Thank you very much, and happy fishing.